Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your in-depth horoscope forecast for week commencing the 19th of August for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be grateful if you did so now. This week begins with a shift of emphasis beginning to take shape. Late last week, Mars, the planet of drive, moved into the sign of Virgo. Now, this is a bit counterintuitive because Mars is about the individual. It's about our desire to get instant gratification. It's a more masculine energy. Of course, Virgo is the virgin. It is about sacrifice and purity. But Mars in this area can see us able to work harder, sustain our efforts in a much more focused way, and look for tangible results. Now, Mars is going to be joined on Wednesday by Venus. Now, Venus in the sign of Virgo is also quite self-sacrificing. And then they're both joined on Friday by the Sun, which returns to Virgo for the first time in 11 months. Now, in the last phase of this week, the three are going to be together. So we have a stellium. And this is going to be fascinating because they're also going to be linking to Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So we have this greater emphasis on the things that require our attention to detail and where we need to be thorough and precise and discriminating, which all comes from that Virgo energy. But there's also a push to be creative, inventive, and a bit spontaneous, which is coming from the energy from Uranus. Also, as we enter into this week, we still have the backdrop of last week's Venus-infused full moon, which occurred in the sign of Aquarius. So we were already being asked to juggle our priorities and manage our time, especially in a social or romantic context. So I think what this Virgo energy is going to ask us to do is really focus. And the interesting thing also is there is a quarter moon on Friday in the sign of Gemini, which could see us tempted, because of the Virgo energy, to almost be too virtuous and to try to pack in so much at the end of this week that we actually end up spreading ourselves too thinly. So really prioritizing on what's really important is going to be really helpful. And the other thing that's happening this week is that Mercury, now it's going forwards in the sign of Leo, is actually forging a superb angle to Jupiter. So Jupiter, of course, is in Sagittarius, itself going forwards. So if there is a scheme which requires us to think big, be positive, but apply ourselves in a very precise way, which is supported by this Virgo energy, well, we're certainly getting it all together. But it's important to understand that the stellium between the Sun and Venus also links with Mars, and that's quite a sultry combination. So it may say us orientated in some way with our passions to do something that can be good for someone or good for a relationship, but especially where we can think of another person's needs and be a bit more thoughtful or practical in the way that we help them. Your specific forecast, Aquarius, is fascinating. You're being given an opportunity by the stars this week to go on a journey deeper down within your being. The 8th solar house is evoked. This is about change, but it's also about ends and beginnings, which, if you think about it, is part of the process of life for us all. If something has run its course, particularly a very close involvement, it doesn't have to be a romantic one. It could be a business relationship. It could even be a friendship. But if you have reached a point where you feel that something needs to be refreshed, there could be some changes that sweep into your situation from this week. Now, it's also the case that Mercury is forging an awesome angle to Jupiter. So there may be one connection or person who's really adding sparkle to your situation. And this can be a person who's very much coming into your world. So that's where the new growth is coming from. So the 8th house Can be very psychological. It can be about those ends, but it can be very much about renewal. It's about recreation. So if there is something that's going through some kind of evolutionary process in your life at quite a deep level, this can be a period that's highly intriguing, and you're going to be given out a very powerful energy which can attract somebody to you, particularly if you are single. You're someone who works through the sphere of ideas, but your ideas are still going to be there, but I just feel that you're going to be doing a lot of deeper thinking. Now, there is a quarter moon on Friday in your sister air sign of Gemini, and it's possible that that Aquarius trait that you might share with me, really not liking possessiveness very much, may come up, jealousy, the dark arts, around one particular association. But stay strong. The Sun's combination in a stellium with Mars and Venus in the last half of this week can draw goodness to you. And it could be financial goodness. It could be new attention from someone who does get where you're going in the deeper part of your existence. So it's a fascinating, as I say, but also highly exciting week of the year. If you'd like to know more about personal astrology based on your time, date and place of birth, why not let me cast your charts for you? If you have a year's forecast and a character analysis, I'll give you a 30% discount, or you can choose to have a one-to-one consultation with me personally. But for now, good luck and goodbye.